me get my guests into the discussion. I have with me former Indian cricketer Ashok Malhotra. Ashok, to you first, was it all about the first over? Often in T20 cricket, we talk about matches being won or lost in the power play. Those 2 wickets?
Absolutely. Those were the turning points. Because 2 openers back in the heart, two top-class openers who were supposed to give us a wonderful start, they were back in the heart. And I think it set the ball rolling for Pakistan. And not to forget, Rika, the body language. The body language was totally different. Pakistan was out there to prove a point. You can make out. And whereas we did not have the right team on the park. We didn't have people who were informed people like Ishan Kishan for one. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has been a shadow of himself. Hardik Pandya, I still don't know what he's doing in the team because he can't hit the ball. As of now, he's not timing the ball, and he struggled it throughout the IPL. Same with Surya Kumar Yadav. Because you play people who are informed. That is the main thing. You can't just come to the ground and hope that they will lie low and we will walk all over them. It is not going to happen. This is the World Cup. Other teams are all geared up to do well. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And we, if I may say, our guys looked a little bit of a premium on us today. They were not there. I know the first 2 wickets were there, but all in all, we looked very, very fragile. The whole batting looked very fragile. After the top 2 went out, it was only Virat Kohli. There's nobody else around him. So that has been our undoing. And if you have to put the right team on the field, you can't just hope and pick people on their past performances.
Right. Earlier in the day, during the pre-show, we were talking about this being the chance to become hero, and Shaheen Afridi clearly was the hero of the night. Rakesh, 3 wickets he took today, the 3 wickets of Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul and Virat Kohli. Which, according to you, was the best ball among the 3 that he bowled?
Well, it looks like the one which got KL Rahul, obviously, because KL Rahul is the one who has been in form. If you take Rohit, of course, he just got that ball too early in the innings, and we know that how Mohammad Amir had made him look so ordinary. And now, if he thought that Amir is not around, here comes Afridi. So for Rohit, there is absolutely no respite. But since you asked me about this, but then this particular match, it started with Pakistan winning the toss, just what they wanted. They wanted early wickets, just the way it happened. They wanted to chase a total which was, say, in the vicinity of, say, 140, 150. They got just that, and they didn't lose a wicket. So their opening bowler and their openers did the job for them. That's all for, Indians don't have much to really complain about because they've been thoroughly outplayed. It was a sound thrashing.
Absolutely. That's what Sunil Gavaskar also said. Let me go over to Anis Sajan. Rarely do you get your predictions wrong, but tonight it was a hammering that the Indians got from the Pakistanis.
I remember telling you that India might have a walk in the park, but it went the other way, I'm afraid. But you have to give it to Team Pakistan. The way they came with a lot of intent with the ball, not only with Shaheen Afridi, as well as the fielding, they were spot on. The captainship of Babar Azam was spot on, and the spinner Shadab, he was also brilliant in the middle overs. And when they came on to bat, generally Pakistans are known to choke when chasing. But again, with this guy, Mohammad Rizwan, after he's joined Pakistan team, he gives that impetus and start to the Pakistan team. And I'm afraid, so there is no harm in losing. This one team, one day this bubble had to burst, India had to lose. But I'm afraid the way India caved in, or probably gave the match away, there was no fight at all. The body language look of the fast bowlers very poor, barring Bumrah. And I'm afraid to some extent Chakravarti, rest of bowlers looked at sea. And this is a good kick on the back of the Indian side, because going ahead in the next matches, I'm sure they will wake up. But like I heard one of our guests saying that you've got to pick right players for the right game. Ashok Malhotra Saab, he's a veteran and I'm sure he knows what he talks. And I don't see Hardik Pandya playing in the team, and he should not be picked, not because he did not score, because he hardly got any balls to face, but he's injury prone. You have to pick players who are fit.
Yeah, so the news for our viewers is that Hardik Pandya got hurt and he has been sent for scans. We of course don't know whether he gets to play in the next match or not. It's a week away from now. Let me go over to Tausif Anwar, who's a Pakistan fan who's there with us. Tausif, your first reactions. You waited for 13 matches, almost over a period of 30 years.
Exactly. It was tremendous. It was amazing what we were expecting the Pakistan to deliver, and they did. And it calmed our heart, and all the way Pakistan.
Well, we've all been talking about that Mauka advertisement. Gurkirat, that Mauka went the other way.
And Mauka, how like Pakistan came up with they were like the beginning. We are coming up with a strategy for India to beat them this time. So, and they proved it, and they did it so well and so great. Well done Pakistan and well done India.
Yes, well done Pakistan. Gurkirat, Mauka going the other way this time around.
Well, it had to happen someday. It's sport. There have been bigger streaks that have been broken. Rafael Nadal has lost at Roland Garros. Australia have lost at the Gabba.
Okay, let's not get into the history of different sports. We know there have been some prolific clashes that have happened tonight as well. Gurkirat, let me ask you, what hurts more, losing by 10 wickets or losing the match against Pakistan?
Hello?
Yes, Gurkirat, did you hear me?
Rika, I lost you a little bit. Can you please repeat your question?
I just wanted to ask you, what hurts more, losing the match against Pakistan or losing by 10 wickets?
I'd say losing by 10 wickets because it tells you that you've been completely outplayed. In this format, any team can lose to any team. But, I hope the Indian team does a reverse of the Champions Trophy of 2017 where, like how Pakistan did it when they lost the first game and then went on to win. I hope India do something similar so that, the scores are settled.
Tausif, I have to take that question to you. Was it more gratifying because it became a 10-wicket win against India?
Well, it was a great win for Pakistan, and at the same time, I can say it was a huge shock for Indian team and Indian cricket. Like after a long time, Pakistan gave them a hard challenge, which lead them to almost like 10 wickets, in 10 wickets in hand, and still they had like another over to play. So it was a big one.
Ashok, we'll have to talk about these two Pakistani batters, Rizwan and Babar. Of course, when we look at the T20 rankings of ICC, they are in the top 10. So are KL Rahul and Virat Kohli. The way they steered the chase. Tell us a little bit about that. What are your impressions about these two Pakistani batters?
See, we have been hearing a lot about Babar Azam. He's been spoken very highly. He's a very top-class player. Nobody talks about Mohammad Rizwan. He is under the shadow of Babar Azam, but he's a phenomenal player. Last 2 years, since he has started opening for Pakistan, he's been unbelievable. And Rika, not to forget, it was not only they're playing good shots; they were running brilliantly. They ran us ragged, if I may say. We Indians had no clue. Every ball they were going over for the single, whether it hits the pad or hits the thigh pad, it doesn't matter. They were running brilliantly. And I would say that they have such good understanding between these two. And if Pakistan has a strong contender, it is thanks to these two and Shaheen Afridi. Because these three are standout performers. And I would say it's unbelievable performance. And you asked the question, losing by 10 wickets or losing to Pakistan. If you lose by 10 wickets or 1 wicket, losing to Pakistan, it does hurt. It does hurt, and I hope India has a history of bouncing back when our backs are against the wall, and it has already started. So I hope good sense prevails, good team is put on the park, and we bounce back.
Yes, but their backs are still not against the wall. They can win against New Zealand, and there are a few lesser known oppositions in the group, and they can still go on to play pretty ordinary cricket, go on to make the semi-final and the final. But, you know, losing the first match, not setting perhaps the momentum in the tournament is what is going to hurt many fans. Anis, I'll have to talk to you a little more about Babar and Rizwan, because earlier in the tournament, Babar Azam said it is Pakistan's opening pair that's going to dictate how the tournament goes, how the tournament goes for the team. Looking at them today, do you think that they are serious contenders for the title?
One point, what I agree, what Babar Azam says, that the opening pair sets the platform, but I'm not sure whether they are serious contenders. Yes, to be very honest, today they outplayed India in all parts, rather whether it's batting, bowling or fielding. Whether they are serious contenders, it's too early to say, because you see, they are a team which is hot and cold. One day very hot, the other day very cold. But having said that, I will repeat that same line what I said in my first time, is that the intent what they showed. You know, they were brilliant with the ball from the first over. They're brilliant in the field, and when they came out to bat, and again this combination, as you mentioned about Mohammad Rizwan, he complements well to Babar Azam. Babar Azam is like that Virat Kohli type of player, very classy, very elegant. And this guy makes sure that he chips in with the singles and doubles. And what Ashok Malhotra Saab said, today you could see a different Pakistani team where they were running between the wickets was much better. India did run well with Virat Kohli, but these guys were running quite hard and made sure that they did not give India a chance. Let me tell you, not one chance we got. We cannot even say that we dropped a cat. Not even one chance came to us. So we were totally outplayed. Yes, they will go the distance if they continue the same way, but I'm not sure whether they will.
And, you know, Anis, what really stood out for me today was it was not all slam bang cricket as T20 is known, but these were players who had deft touch, and some exquisite shots today were played by these two men. Rakesh, coming to you, there's a stat that's just coming to me of the spinners, impact of the spinners on this match. Three Pakistani spinners bowled 8 overs, conceded 47 runs. 2 Indian spinners conceded 61 runs in 8 overs. Would you then say that Ashwin was sorely missed?
I wouldn't say that, because you know, these stats don't consider one huge reason. When Indians came to bowl, there was so much of dew. The stats doesn't say that at all. Of course, I think you know, like Ravindra Jadeja bowled reasonably well. Varun, of course, for him it was a huge occasion, so I don't want to be harsh on him. But then I don't think this direct comparison of how our spinners bowled, you know, as against how the Pakistanis bowled. I think they bowled in conditions which were a lot different, and Indians were under pressure. And here the Indian spinners were up against 2 guys who were on a roll. I mean, 10 runs of the first over, and you were off. So I think a lot of these a lot of these things happened, which the stats don't reveal.
Let me go over to Tausif, if you are still there. There's been Tausif isn't there. Let me go over to Gurkirat. Gurkirat, so many comparisons between Babar Azam and Virat Kohli. Today, one scored a century, another half century, another replied with a half century. What a moment for a fan to be watching that.
Of course, you know, between the two, both of them have showed their class how to bat on difficult pitches. But I thought, you know, the turning point was when Rishabh Pant got out, because he was getting into some kind of a groove. He had hit 2 sixes. Probably if he had stayed there, India could have reached 170, and then they would have challenged Pakistan a lot more than what they did today. But, you know, I think we need to hold on to massive reactions and just show that there are 1 or 2 changes and the team backs its performances and does well. I just think it's a bad day, nothing more than that.
Gurkirat mentioned about Rishabh Pant. Rakesh, you're still there. Do you have a comment about his execution of shots?
Well, that's the way he plays. I mean, I have spoken to Vikram Rathore at length, and what he says is, "Bhaiya, iske saath aur kya kar sakte hain bataiye." I mean, it is like you ask him a question and he seeks an answer from you, because that's the way Rishabh is. I mean, we like it or we don't. Let's accept the way he is, and sometimes he'll get you out of the hole. Sometimes he won't.
He won't.
So yeah, you know, that's the way Rishabh is, and Rishabh is different. Let's face it.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on the broadcast this evening. The news is that India has been comprehensively beaten by Pakistan in their opening match of the T20 World Cup.